Hello everyone. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe, and leave a comment saying where you're from and when you watched. That way, YouTube will continue to show you stories like this. Now, let's get started. I woke up in the morning with a heavy heart, my mind reeling from what had happened last night. The mirror in the hallway was still there, silent and lifeless. But the image of the pale face and the crooked smile still haunted me every moment. I told myself that it was all just an illusion caused by the fatigue and obsession of hearing the paranormal stories around this house, but deep down, I knew I could no longer deny it. I decided to explore the house more closely to find the answer. Each room was covered with thick dust, the weak light seeping through the cracks of the windows, creating dim streaks of light like fragile hands touching the walls. I opened each door. The rusty hinges creaked eerily. In a small room, I found an old diary, the leather cover peeling, the paper yellowed by time. On the first page was a blurred name, Margaret. I sat down, turning each page. The scribbled notes recorded the days of uncertainty. The more I read, the more chills ran down my spine. Margaret told of nights when she heard whispers in the house, of shadows standing still outside the window, and of the mirror in the hallway reflecting images that did not belong to this world. In one passage, she wrote that her son often talked to himself in front of the mirror, and one day, the boy disappeared without a trace. From then on, her family fell into a series of tragedies, and in the end, everyone died in unexplainable circumstances. As I closed the diary, a cold wind suddenly blew through, even though all the windows were tightly closed. The door behind me closed automatically, making a heavy bang. I turned around, and in a split second, I saw the shadow of a short child gliding across the hallway, disappearing around the corner where the mirror was placed. My heart was pounding, but instead of running away, curiosity drew me closer. I looked at myself in the mirror. The initial reflection was still me, my face tense, my eyes wide open. But just a few seconds later, right behind me in the mirror, there was the shadow of a little boy, messy hair, wearing old pajamas. He stood still, his eyes sunken like black holes, looking straight at me. I turned around. The hallway was empty. That night, I decided to challenge myself. I placed a chair in front of the mirror, sat down with a candle. The flickering candlelight reflected a shaky light. I stared into the mirror, hoping to see the truth more clearly. After a few minutes, the room seemed to thicken. The cold air enveloped it. Then I heard a child's soft laughter. The boy appeared again in the mirror, this time raising his hand, gesturing for me to come closer. I trembled as I reached my hand close to the glass, and at that moment, the cold hand from the mirror touched my hand. I screamed, fell backwards, and the candle went out. In the darkness, laughter echoed throughout the room, lingering on and on. I ran out into the hallway, my heart pounding, sweat pouring down my body. I knew clearly that what I was facing was not an illusion. This house was truly haunted, and the mirror was the gateway between the two worlds. The next morning, I met the old neighbor again. When I told him about the child in the mirror, he was silent for a long time before sighing. He said that long ago, in Margaret's family, there was a boy named Daniel. The night before he disappeared, the boy kept mumbling to his mother that there was a friend in the mirror who kept calling him to go out. People believed that Daniel had been dragged to the other world. The animated horror stories I had seen on the screen now could not compare to the truth I was witnessing. The old man warned that if I stayed, I would soon become the next target. But I couldn't stop. The diary, the mirror, and the shadow of the child made me like a truth addict. Needed to know what had really happened. At night, as I was about to lock the door, a knock came from the mirror. 3 dry, steady knocks. I froze, turned around, and saw the child's face pressed against the glass, lips moving as if whispering something. I strained to listen, but it was only a muffled murmur. Then suddenly, small hands began to pound on the glass, the sound echoing throughout the hallway. The mirror shook, as if it were about to shatter. I backed away, and in a moment, I realized there was more than one face looking out. It wasn't just the child's, but many others, old and young, all pale, with empty eyes, mouths with strange smiles. They all looked at me, as if waiting for the moment I would cross the line. I ran downstairs in a panic, my heart pounding, but in my head there was only one thought. The mirror was not simply a reflection, it's a door, and once it's opened, there's no turning back. The story doesn't end there, because the next night I'll discover an even more terrifying secret about the mirror and the souls trapped inside it. Stay tuned for the next episode, where the truth will gradually come out.